Today is always happening. There is no such thing as time. I'm always making this video. It's always March 3rd today. Today is a place. It explains how everything is perfect, even though it's wrong. When you might think that all of these jiggling vibrations, these crazy variables that are out there that are going to impact us at some time, you think any given second it's going to be the deficit or the corruption or the pedophiles or the sun, the global warming. Any given second, any one of these things or all of these things or two of these things will erupt and will be thrown into chaos, and yet it just doesn't happen. Every day there's more. Every single day you check in on it, and every little variable is getting crazier and worse, and yet it just keeps going. Why? Because there's no such thing as time. Today is a place. This is a place. We're here in it. There's no such thing as the little tick-tocky thing on your wrist that they made up. There's no such thing. Seconds and minutes and hours. Arbitrary nonsense, just made up for the sake of giving you something else to watch, to be worried about. Your clock, your ticking, your more bullshit, just made up. Another form of control. A distraction means nothing. What time is it right now? Who gives a shit? It just goes on and on and on. But the only explanation I can come up with why a volcano doesn't change everything, or why a meteor doesn't land and hit us and change things, just change our path a little and have this perfect plan of what you see around you, all these that you should see, that all of these things that are going on right now are perfect, even though they can't be, because it looks like they're gambling. The too big to fails, the bailing out, the rich people getting richer, the poor people getting poorer, the timelessness of that scenario, and yet it just goes on perfectly. And you and I are sitting here, or at least myself personally, looking at it. At one time I would have thought that it'll have to come to an end. Because you just can't keep borrowing money. The deficit just can't keep growing. Somebody that we owe the money to, whoever that is, whatever it is, wants that money, and yet nobody's talking about who are we going to pay the money back to. If Canada owes $1 trillion, which I believe it's up to, we're not paying it back. There is no economy. Nobody wants that money. It's all nonsense. It's all made up. It's just more bullshit. The States owes $18 trillion, and they're just going to borrow money. And what do you hear? That raising the deficit, raising the cap won't raise the debt. Things like that. Just ridiculous. And of course, it is just made up. There's no such thing as money. Truly rich people don't know what money is, and truly poor people don't know what money is. The people in the middle know what money is. And we're the ones playing the game the hardest. It's all made up. Everything's made up. It's just a mess, meant to be confusing, that's why everything is vague, no matter what you look at, no matter how much you focus on it. Everything's meant to be blurred, vague, arbitrary, depending how you look at it, your perspective. They're fogging the lines and the gender now. Any line they can find that used to be somewhat defined, they're blurring it on purpose. And why? Is there a big plan? Or is it just a joke? Is it just, like everything else, just a joke? So, and while I could go on and on about anything here, because I have stated openly for years that it probably takes about 50 hours, if you're a really good listener and you keep your mouth shut, to hear what I have to say. And that'll take a long time of making these little videos. Even though I've written thousands of pages and posted them, I realize it's all for naught. Why am I doing this? I feel obligated. If I feel sympathetic, empathetic, I feel sorry for what's happening, that people can't see what's happening, and I feel obligated to spend a few minutes, make a simple little video here, post it. Nothing's going to come of it. Nothing ever comes of it. Bad things go forward. Bad things get noticed. That's this place. This is, we're in hell. This is hell. And that's why everything is so perfectly wrong. Everything's so wrong. And I thought I might as well skip right through this because I'll try to make this shorter. Here's this little book. And obviously I had so many more things marked in it. And I can't go around making 3-hour videos. The last one went too long, I'm sure. But anyway, I'll get right back into it and mention this thing that I noticed. This is going to be a little bit crazier than the other. The other thing was looking at facts that were bullshit. This is something different entirely that I noticed, in which case there's that crazy book. If you didn't see the other one, there we go, Chronicles of that last made-up century. We're 15 years into this entirely made-up century. And what am I going to point out today? Well, this one's a little bit stickier that I noticed, and I think it's rather unsettling. But I don't know why they did this. But anyway, I'll show you this. It all starts with this one. See down here? See that? Can you see that? See how the little finger looks like it's sticking out? And then look at the page number. See that? See the page number? Go back to the little ad, the little propaganda. Nothing's ever changed. The propaganda is as apparent today as it ever was. But look how that little finger sticks out. See, here's my dirty little hand. See how my finger doesn't stick out? See how the 4 fingers kind of look uniform? See how they kind of look? And yet they're really making a point of making that one finger stick out, right? Can you open your fucking eyes? Yeah, because that little finger looks different. And there we go. Right, I said the page number. So anyway, I had already heard about how whoever, whatever, is in the little 11 gang, how they're big on, obviously, flaunting. Hopefully we've established that. If you haven't seen the other video or heard anything, it's all about the 11s and whoever it is that's flaunting. And this video is all about how we're in hell. So anyway, that 11 finger thing is unsettling because regardless of where I heard about it, it's all about there being 11 fingers. See, here's my hands. Looks like there's around 10 of them, 8 fingers, 2 thumbs, but either way, about 10 of them. It's supposed to be 11, in which case that's weird because they put that there. Here's the same book, and here is 165 pages. 165, 65 is 11, and these sons of bitches always start from the right. Okay, so 5 plus 6 is 11, so 165 is 111. And what's on 165 pages from that page? This. Now use all your fingers and toes and add up how many finger dots there are there. What page is that? 701. So that's 165 pages from where I just showed you. Count the fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 finger dots. You see that? I didn't make that up. I didn't adjust it. Go get your own copy or fuck yourself for all I care. 11 finger dots. Page 701. 11 fingers. So the first one, they show you how there's kind of like a weird extra finger. Right? Right? So anyway, I'll show you it again. Just so you know, because they're making sure you realize there's something weird going on here. And there's the famous swastika that's coming back in a big way lately. Okay. That's the other thing that they make sure in this hell, because time doesn't exist, that any single thing that anybody ever would have been worried about in the past, or in the future, I'm sure, if there is such a thing, it's always the same. It's going to be race, religion, sex, the same bullshit, sacrificing children, you name it. everything has to be timeless because there is no such thing as time. You're going to be faced with the exact same things. That's why the new war that's starting up, whether it's the Islamophobes, the Jew haters, the Christian haters, you name it. We're just doing the exact same thing. Nothing's going to change. It's going to be the same thing. So anyway, that's 165 pages. Now let's go 165 pages from that page, because this is weird. Unless you don't think this is weird, you can blow yourself. I like it. Don't care. I just don't. 165 pages. What's the page number? There we go. Remember? See that? Can you see her? 1, 2, 3 in the little bubbles, and then they show her 5 fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals 11. That's so weird, right? That's so weird. And I just happened to own this book. I just happened to discover that. I just happened to be paying more attention to something maybe than I should have. But then again, you have to admit they're inviting you. They want to see it. The ring wants to be found. Of course it does, right? We've heard this bullshit. But that's weird, right? The 11 fingers, and then the 11 dots, and then the chickie baby here with the 11, right? So that's weird, right? Why would they? And these are, right? That's weird. So why are they doing that? Because I got to admit that's unsettling. I would have read that in the dark one day, sitting there alone, seeing that, and then looking for it, and you see that 165 pages, and they show these 11 fingers. It's unsettling. It's unsettling. What does it mean? I don't know, to be honest, why they use the 11. I'm not kidding. I don't know what it is. I could tell you a few things that I've got as ideas. I don't know. What I've come up with, and it's not like it's conclusive, but this is hell. We're in hell. Oh, and I was going to prepare this ahead of time, but if you add up the letters to we're in hell, like WEREINHELL, and you do the numbers to letters, it adds up to 121. You could probably take the time and do it, or not. But either way, 121 is 11 times 11. We're in hell. Yeah. And I thought that was unsettling. And then when I added up something else that I often say to people whenever I tell them the first part, I'll say, hey, we're in hell. That whenever I kind of prove it to them, or you see something in the news or in real life that confirms it to a certain extent, I say, I told you. I told you. I-T-O-L-D-Y-O-U. And you can add that one up because it adds up to 121. 11 times 11. So anyway, these are the kind of things that were haunting me. And what was it, 2007? 8 years ago, I left everything. Left it all. Because I could see all these things happening, and I realized that I can kind of hold on to things as good as the next person, whatever that means. And I thought that I got to walk away. And where I thought that this is a game, because the coincidences follow me every day. Never a day goes by without something happening that kind of needs some kind of explanation. So I decided to leave everything, to test this, knowing that it isn't real, but then what is? Because that doesn't answer anything. It just asks another question. It's one door that leads to two more, like this world that we're in always seems to offer. Open one door, there's two more. And they're usually open downwards, so you kind of fall into it. But in any case, and there I go with that, I realized that I'll keep this to myself, and I'll keep my mouth shut, and I'll just leave everything. My instinct initially was to just kill myself, thinking that I'll go and find out what's here, take the step, and see what's happening. But then I thought that wouldn't make my mom happy, and she's a lovely lady that didn't need to be sitting beside my casket. So anyway, I thought I'll hold on a little bit, simply because at that point, 2012, December 21st, 2012, that looked, because that was the time that everybody prior to that date was kind of looking at in the distance, that had been established as being an end, a juncture, some kind of moment where the whole world would do something. So I thought, because everything in the world that was going on that was wrong was kind of going on freely. Nobody cares about the deficit. Nobody cares about the children. Nobody cares about the animals. Nobody cares about the environment. The corruption, the too big to fail, GMOs, the Middle East, 9/11, you name it. All of these things that are going on are bad, and they're going on freely. And even though we might want to stop them, not only are they not being stopped, they are going off the edge of a cliff as fast as they can. In which case I thought, oh good, kind of, that I won't have to do anything about it myself, because I think we're all going to die soon. That's what I would have said. And then I thought, I'll ride this out. This will be 2007. I will ride this out. I'll sit in my parents' basement if I have to, eat peanut butter, and keep my mouth shut. Live without self. That's the key part. Live without self. Self is the enemy in this world realm we're in. And I will make it through. Just get through. Because I thought, December 21st, it's all sitting out there. It looks like it's an easy way out. I'll just get from here, 2007 to 2012. I'll get there, and then I'm sure that's it. If the world even makes it that far, I figured everything. My parents are retired, and a couple of everyday folks, if there ever were two of them. So, obviously, I buckled down, got rid of my everything. Got rid of everything. Got rid of self. Got rid of the girl I loved, the job, the friends. Got rid of everything. Everything I could get rid of, and I just kind of sat there in the dark. And I thought, I'll ride this out. Not really thinking about much more than I can't kill myself, so I'll have to just act with no self until that time comes. Because then I'm sure everything that I'm looking at will catch up and blow up. And then see what happens, right? Who knows what's going to happen. It would be like that movie with, where the anvil comes in. If you just sit there and be quiet, even right now, if I just sit here in this room, there'll be a knock at the door. Something will interfere. It's a story. This isn't real. None of it's real. So I thought, I'll just do that. So anyway, the first winter was a doozy, right? It was bad. It was bad. It took forever. Long days. Long days. And without getting into the particulars of what I did to pass my time, no contact, no expression of self. So if I wanted to call someone, I couldn't. I just didn't. I didn't call anybody. I can only react. I can only reciprocate. And I got to where when the times were going slowly and eating away, because it only takes a little bit of time. You sit in the dark for a few days, a few weeks, a few months. You'll start to unravel. The dark will come in. The walls will start talking. What are they saying? Shut your mouth for a second and listen. And it just went on, and I would say to myself over and over, there is no me, there is no me, there is no me, there is no me, there is no me. And eventually, you get to where you don't remember saying it to yourself, because it just goes away. And you just kind of melt into the woodwork. So anyway, I always would shoot through the winters. I'm in Canada here. Winters take forever. It's dark very early. Cold. You buckle in, you shelter in, you just get through. And I thought, okay, I've got about 5 more of those winters. The second winter, obviously, I'm fearful ahead of time, because I knew what the first winter had to offer, or what it took, what it cost. And it was tough. And then you miss your life, your everyday. You're going out, you're doing things, you're acting, you're initiating, I want to go out, I want to do things, I want to, whatever it is you want to do, you want to do it. But I can't express self. I thought, I'll ride this out. I'll just sit here, I'll just ride it out. I got 4 or 5 more years to go. And then you start, without any kind of, I'm not much of a reader. I don't do any self-help investigating. And then I would start, just like I would have said, there is no me, there is no me, there is no me. I eventually started to find many ways just to get through to tomorrow, that each day was one day, just like today. There's only one day. There's no such thing as time. That might not have occurred to me at that moment, but anyway, it has since. And I would have said, I just got to get through to tomorrow. I just got to get through to tomorrow. I just got to get through to tomorrow. So you wake up, the only thing on your mind is tomorrow, the beauty or the enemy, depending on how you look at it. Each night you awake renewed. The evening, the slumber, the sleep erases you, starts you fresh. And that can be the worst thing or the best thing, obviously. Everything's kind of the coin that looks like that. And I would keep saying, there is no me, there is no me, and then I just got to get through to tomorrow. I just got to get through to tomorrow. I just got to get through to tomorrow. So no matter what, you would just scratch through like that, get little things accomplished, have little goals, little ridiculous little things just to get through, because the things would eat at you, and it would just never end. And I know that all of these things, that it isn't real, but I can't express self, I can't regress, I can't go back. There's nothing back there. I can't do it. I've got to just go on and get through these. And it would have taken a long time. The second winter was a cakewalk compared to the first winter, because I knew what to expect. I knew what to go through. I could plan for it. And by the time the third winter goes by, right? Third winter, I'm literally coasting, because I know exactly what to do. Just like anything, we get better with practice. And I would have learned tactics, tricks, and got through it. And then eventually I got to my last little expression of self-preservation, which is somewhat ironic, because the whole point is to be living without self. But bad things would happen. There's a lot of things in the dark. You sit there in the dark. I went a year without hydro, and you can hear a pin drop. I'm living in the country. I can't leave the house unless there's a reason. I don't have a phone. I got rid of everybody. Got rid of everything. You just sit there in the dark, and you unravel. And then eventually you get detached, despondent, and you literally you can really relate to those movies where you see somebody sitting on an island and they start drooling and talking to things, and things start moving. That's that's legitimate. It'll happen. Just go sit somewhere for a while. It'll just start. It'll all come undone. So at the end, the last thing I remember saying, because obviously I died many times. A lot of times in the dark, you die. You sit there and there's nothing left, because no matter when something bad would happen, there is no one I can call, and there's nowhere I can go, because I'm already there. That was the worst thing. You couldn't go out and have something bad happen, because then the worst thing that would happen when you're out and something bad happened, you'd have to go home where you're just alone. So you couldn't go out. You just wait and have everything bad happen to you where you're safe, where you're alone. The bottom floor, the basement, the dark, the alone, where everything is one, because the dark doesn't care. You just sit there, and you just kind of rot away. And that's why if anything bad happened there, it was scary. There's no doubt about it. Bad. And you just have to take it. Because you can't, I don't want to bring someone else down. I can't call someone, because I'm going to bring them down. I do that naturally. I'm very good at it. I can, yeah. So, if anything were to occur, there's no calling anyone, there's no reaching out to anyone, and you got to ride it out. You got to ride it out in the dark. And bad things would happen. Bad things are going to be there in the dark. And you get these moments where, just like anything, you can only be so scared. So that's why no matter what happens to me tomorrow, or as in from here on out, I can't be as scared as I was. I've already been to the edge of that. I've already sat in the dark and seen things happen that can't happen. So you just can't, I'm rattled beyond that. Like Nietzsche said, in order to be an immortal in this life, you had to have died many times while you're still alive, which I can associate to. He also said, you're not going to read something and understand it unless you already knew it before you read it. So when I read something he's written, I can associate to most of it, because I went through it firsthand. So you'd have these bad things happening. And that was the last thing I remember having to say to myself over and over to get through, which would have been probably a couple years before, where I didn't have anything left. The bad things, the worst things that happened were a long time ago because I didn't make it. It's whatever day it was, like I sat down something that I never again picked up. And I died those days. I know that. And it was worse then. It is now. I'm talking about it from as if I read it. But the last things I would say when bad things were going to happen, or would keep happening, because no matter what the story, if you're capable of taking something, the story's going to give it. So whatever it is, the story, it is a gift. As crazy and backwards as that might sound, you go out there on the edge, and the story will punish you. If you can make it, you go another step, and the story will punish you. The story will keep doing it to you. So when you go out there, and you didn't have to invite it because I wasn't inviting anything, I wasn't expressing self. But the story knows that. The story doesn't care. The story will come in. The story will knock on the door in the dark and come in when you're sitting there, knowing that you're just trying to survive, which is in essence, obviously, selfish. Right? I have no intention of surviving. I don't care about myself. Self died a long time ago. But the story knows what you care about, and the story's going to come in and peel away at that and poke you where you're sensitive and hurt you. And you'd sit there, and when the worst things would happen, and you got nothing left. And of course, I didn't come up with it from some hand-me-down. I didn't read it. But when the bad things would happen, I'd say, "Is that all you got?" And I would say that over and over and over, because it wasn't like it was once. It would happen over and over and over. And you'd just be holding on. And nowhere to go, nowhere to call, no one to reach to, because I would just be bringing them down, right? Nobody wants anything heavy. Heaven, haha, there's a Freudian slip if you ever heard one. No one wants any heaven. Everything is meant to be bad. So when you're wondering about what you're going to do, and you're going to find that that you're sitting on this edge, that it would just keep happening, and you can't do anything about anything. You had so much more to go, so much more time to pass, and there was nothing there that was going to make it. Anyway, the 12/21 came long after that, which time I was alone and nothing mattered, nothing was going to help anything, and all I had was this feeling that it actually didn't occur, because obviously we're a couple years past that, nothing ever did happen, and what was going to take place, I don't know. Nothing did happen, because why? I mean, if we're in hell, that's why. As I've stated, that I don't expect there to be any war where massive amounts of people die, because that would be a freak out. We're meant to be here. We're meant to be suffering. We're meant to do it all on our own. We're meant to be culpable. We're meant to look around and know everything is wrong, and just take it and just keep looking past it, and just to keep not caring about anything. Like I stated, nobody gives a shit about anything. They've made it perfectly like that, because today is a place. You're here, you know that everything around you is wrong. Maybe not the distractions and the cake and the lovely delicacies and the movies and the video games and the porno and the prostitution. Those things are awesome. You're right. Totally awesome. It's the Palestinians, what's going on in Africa. Ever since they stopped slavery in Africa, it's actually gotten worse, which was the whole plan, to go in there to make sure that it's worse. Go around, make it worse. So no matter where the people that made this shirt, right? Some child in China, I'm sure that's what it says in the label. Some who's probably dead by now because I had the shirt for 10 years, right? I don't. It's the same thing. No matter where you look at, everything is supposed to be wrong. You are supposed to be culpable. You are supposed to be to blame. You are supposed to, without really any reason, without fear for yourself, you're supposed to just look the other way. That's why you've been baited. That's why everything is so perfect. Today is a place. You're to be judged by it. And maybe I'm wrong, by all means, but this is my effort to showcase some simple assumptions that I have witnessed. All of these things. When they say love yourself, that's the worst thing in the world to do. The worst. The last thing in the entire world you should love is yourself. Like, fart jokes are more important than you are. By a lot. There is nothing less important than you are. But all of these things, and of course it's easy to sell, right? And you look at the letters, I focused on the 11, but the 666 is the big one. Of course, everybody knows it to a certain extent. The number of the beast, it's obviously biblical, whether or not you believe in the Bible or not. The people that are running the show do, because we're in hell. They're the bastards that wrote it. They're the ones that make sure it goes to plan. And it's already gone to plan, because today has already happened. There's no such thing as March 3rd. This is just part of the story. And 666 adds up to 18. What word in the English language adds up to 666? Not many, because it's 18 letters, 18 little tiny digits. But there's one that really fits in. Me. M-E. M is the 13th letter. E is 5. 13 plus 5 is 18. And what's wrong with this world? Me. 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 You think that's just a coincidence? Really? Do you think it is? Then you look at 36. So 36, 3 sixes, 666. What words add up to 36 in the language? Oil, O-I-L. That's a big one. That's kind of the god of the shithole, right? Right? Law, right? Opinion with a gun, law, L-A-W, adds up to 36. That's a coincidence. Lava, like hell, like melt you right in there, lava. And then you got child, C-H-I-L-D. That's weird, right? That's weird how that one fits right there. Like this was always here, and that you come in here and you just sit your little bum down, and you don't need to pay attention to anything, because nothing matters, nothing. And the last one is fiat, which you could say is obviously a little bit relevant to do some homework, because everything in this world with these fake fiat currencies and everything's fake, right? I'll just print $1 trillion. It's okay. Just keep doing what you're doing, right? Just those. I'm sure there's more, but those are just what I've come up with. It's not like you can look up somewhere else and find it. There's no Google search for that, right? That's just me. And who am I? I'm Jesus. And if I'm not, well, it wasn't like I made it up. They told me. Okay? They told me. So, all those years ago, they told me. They, it, them, whatever it is. It's a need-to-know situation. And I, for one, don't need to know. The only question worth asking in this entire universe is why? 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 That's the only thing. If you've got other questions, you haven't thought about it enough. And if you thought about it enough and come up with why, you would probably have thought enough that you don't want to know. And I don't. I know that's the only one, so I can just sit here and go and just wait like I did all those years in the dark. Right? There is no me. I just got to get through to tomorrow. Is that all you got? And just sit here. To where I don't think those words anymore. I don't. I'm beyond that. I'm just past where I don't have self. I just don't care about myself. And I'm making these efforts for the children, which might sound ridiculous, right? But at the same time, I would want to know. If I didn't know this, I would want to know. I like to know things. Information is valuable. The information is power. And you're more than welcome to look at it or blow yourself. Couldn't care less. Do whatever you want. I did my best and trying to. I'm sure I'll make more of these. I'm more comfortable sitting in front of this for what it's worth because I know it doesn't matter. It's just a matter of it, getting accustomed, like anything else. So anyway, close this with the little the poem, simply because I thought of this ahead of time, and I'll play it out like I did because it was the poem I wrote 8 years ago that I thought captured this like anything else. Before I sat in the dark, before I died away, before it all came and went, and the gift that was to have reemerged and to walk out into this world and to have lost self, because the key is remove self, master self, and then throw it away. And obviously that's in depth. Mind, body, spirit, these are keys. Master self, throw it away. A strong man helps himself, a stronger man helps others, and I'm sure that's, you put a W-O in there and make it woman, sure. None of this me shit. That's the enemy. That's why they want you. They want to encourage the ego, the me. Why? Because it's disgusting. And they know you'll just grab it and run with it like everybody does. So anyway, a strong boy like you shouldn't fear the night. I wouldn't then, sorry, strong boy like you shouldn't fear the night. I didn't then and wouldn't go back. I saved her from me and what I choose to lack. Mercy for those that help stage this set. More trouble for you might be to say that we met, because I come across strong and am quick to breathe fire. I'll paint you in a corner and I'll make you a liar. The way out is truth, and that post I don't hire. I'll be standing here alone, fixed in a pyre, and thinking ahead. I join the percent they call one, with my hand in the 80, where we care about none. I have all you could want for here, but came only to fall. My voice to be loud, the curtain I'll call.